Chris, you being the oldest guy here, I think you probably have more appreciation for what beating Liberty tonight means. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I mean, yeah, hadn't beat those guys since 2013, so that's definitely a check mark we want to check off on this list.
This was the 203 yards allowed was the fewest amount of yards this defense has allowed since against an FBS opponent. What do you think about that?
Really preparation. We came out, we prepared all week, all last week, and really put it out there on tape today.
Hey, sorry. Colt, you guys obviously would have some of the turnovers back in the red zone, but you still were able to get this win. What's kind of the mindset when you maybe don't play your best football but still get out of here with a victory over a team that's kind of had your number?
Yeah, the turnovers were a little sloppy. We got to fix that for sure. But, I mean, it was a great team win besides the turnovers and some of the just miscues on offense. O-line was, blocking their tails off. Receivers were balling out there. Running backs were running. But, yeah, we just got to clean up the mistakes.
Coach Ronnie's usually really kind of stoic and even keel, and he really doesn't show us any kind of his emotions in these press conferences, but he was kind of giddy today, I would think. What was he like in the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, he's super excited, man. Haven't beat them in a long time, and so it's definitely a good win. Yeah, he was pretty hyped. He was excited.
Corey, heck of a game tonight. What does it feel like to be home and 100+ yards, 2 touchdowns, help your team get the win?
It just feel good. Going out there, putting up their performance. It was a good team win. Shout out my quarterback. O-line blocking for me. And I just thank God.
Question for all three of you. Coming out of the bye week, you're going to use one word. What was the most important thing for you in preparation?
I'll say just staying focused. Staying focused on the task at hand. We had a bye week. We still had to stay focused, put the work in for this game.
I mean, for us, for the defensive side of the ball, mainly, they had like a lot of tricky things that they did. It was they had a little injury last week, so a lot of film watch. But main thing on the field we wanted to focus in on was discipline, and like trusting our eyes and trusting our keys.
Chris, does this been around a while? Does this? I mean, I think to us it feels different. This is a good team.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best team we've probably seen ODU have. What's the feeling like?
I mean, it's crazy. I was just talking to the guys about that yesterday, man. I've been around here a long time. This is the closest we ever felt. And this is the most succinct I've ever been with a team. So it feels good. It feels great. To have these guys have your back.
Nicole, what do you think about kind of like you guys are starting to get a little national buzz too? This isn't some little hidden little secret. People are starting to know about this program. How are you guys handling that?
Yeah, I mean, we're not really too worried about that. We're not focused on that. We're worried about our next opponent, Coastal, and just day in, day out, staying focused on what we got to do to just be the best team we can be.
Do you like the attention?
I mean, yeah, everyone likes the attention, but we're not looking at that. I mean, I barely go on my socials. I'm not really looking at any of that kind of stuff, really.
What about you, Troy?
Well, he said, we don't be a towel. We just put our head down and work.
But you came in here from somewhere else, and a lot of those things can go either way. You don't always get to go to a successful program. What's it like to kind of come in here and be a big part of a team that's winning and making an impact?
It felt good just having my brothers with me. We put in the work each and every week, and it just felt good winning.
The weather was pretty terrible for a lot of the day, but the fans came out pretty strong. You guys got a message for Monarch Nation with regards to that?
We appreciate y'all, man. I mean, that's not common anywhere else. We came out, we seen all them faces, man. That's a lot of support, and it drives us every day.
Monarch Nation, we love you.
Chris, having to prepare for a team like Liberty where they rotate the quarterbacks, what extra challenges does that present?
I mean, really just more time in the film room, just watching and keying in on tendencies. Most importantly, it's like I told you before, it's just that discipline, that eye discipline, things of that nature.
Anything else for these guys? Corey, that touchdown, the last touchdown, how did you get so wide open? What were your thoughts? You caught the ball about the 35. You got defensive backs around you.
I seen the cornerback low, and I was just thinking just go. Cody made a good throw, and I finished it. It felt good.
Oh, how much was it, and nothing much happened for about a quarter and a half. How much was the weather factor in the ability just to execute fundamentals early? I mean, it rained hard for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something we can have an excuse. We got to play hard either way. You know, things were slick out there. You know, it was wet, but it affected us a little bit. But we just got to move on.
You know, I thought we put together a pretty good game. I mean, when you look at the fact we had over 200 yards passing, over 200 yards rushing, and then, you know, we had, you know, more rushing yards than they had total yards. We had more passing yards than they had total yards. So we did some really dominant things. We didn't score in the red zone like we normally do, and that was part of the problem. I'm sure there's a bunch of Old Dominion fans out there that are really happy that we won the time of possession. You know, so yeah, I think that I think the main thing is this team. We got some good players on it. We got some good coaches. We got, you know, good trainers, good administrators, and all those sort of things. And so it's a testament to, you know, what we can do when you don't feel like you play your best football and you still win by 14 points over a team that a lot of people were picking as the preseason, one of the preseason's favorites in the group of five. So, I, you know, got some things to work on, but we can do that. It's a little bit easier to correct them after a win. So, questions?
You see as maybe not the best game, but on defense, it was the fewest yards allowed since this program has moved up to FBS. What does that say about your defense out there today?
We controlled the line of scrimmage, and you know, it's funny that the defense I thought played really well. Obviously, we gave up the explosive pass. And we gave up a couple other runs that I thought it was more of a tackling issue, and then there was one I can like think of the runs that I wish would have got stopped, right? So that's probably telling you that we played pretty well on defense. So I thought the guys, what they did well was you get nervous with a triple option team like that. You get nervous that your team is going to, you know, you talk about discipline, and I discipline the whole time that they're going to play slow and hesitant. And I was very, very proud of our defense that they did not do that. They played very fast and physical and violent.
You said throughout the week, we want to play our best football against these guys. Obviously, 3 turnovers in the red zone, that hurts, but to get is it more comforting you can not play your best football and get a win against a team like this?
I think we played pretty good ball in between the 20s. We just, you know, unfortunately, which has been kind of crazy just because you know, we've been so good in the red zone, right? And I don't see this being a you know, an epidemic or anything like that. I think it's just it's one of those days that you don't like to see in terms of the red zone, but there's still a lot of good football out there.
Do you practice with wet balls?
We have, yeah. I mean,
Was that a factor in the fumbles?
no, I actually don't think it was. I mean, I just think we had some. I don't think the wet ball were the issue in the fumbles or anything like that. I just thought that we didn't quite have the technique and fundamentals that we need to have on those. But I didn't think the wet balls were an issue. No, those are usually the ones where you see the ball like slipping out all over the place, and I didn't think that tonight. I would say this. I thought our ball guys did an unbelievable job. The guys on the sideline running the balls in and out and doing those sort of things. So much so that that the refs were gonna. I don't know what they were going to do, but they were not happy with me. But that's fine. They were doing what they were told, and they did a great job with it.
You protected the headset on after the that intentional grounding call, no call, whatever happened there. You gave up the headset. You were pretty upset. What was going on there?
Well, I mean, you're trying to get me because I protected the headset so that I didn't have to buy a new one. And I'd rather not have to pay more than that. So we'll leave it at that.
Was there a particular issue with the kicking game tonight on field goals, or just?
No. I mean, no. We didn't. Riley hit the one pretty well. I mean, we missed that by about 1.5 feet. Is what, a 52-yarder, I think. And he was upset. He wasn't happy. Because I know he knows he can hit that one and pretty easily. We've all seen him do it. I mean, I saw him do it at halftime about 4 times. And then, we bobbled a snap on the last one. He's been, Ian's been great. And you're going to make a mistake at that. It's one of those things that at holder, no one even, you guys probably didn't even know that Ian was the holder until right now because he made a mistake, right? It's one of those things that people only realize what's going on when something bad happens. But no, that wasn't the issue by any stretch of the imagination. It was an issue on those 2 kicks. I shouldn't say that, but it's not something that I'm concerned about.
The goal line play, Colton extended the ball.
Mhm.
The officials talked for a very long time. Did they give you any feedback on what, because it certainly looked like.
So here's the one I'm going to say on that one. I actually appreciate that they did not overturn that, because here's what I'm going to say. It's supposed to be indisputable evidence that it gets overturned. So if you look at something for 8.5 minutes, how can it be indisputable? And yes, I know they didn't look at it for 8.5 minutes. I'm exaggerating, but it was a long time, right? But I'm being dead serious. I am more upset, honestly, when they overturn those for looking at them for that long, because it's supposed to be indisputable video evidence, right? They're not supposed to technically re-officiate the whole play, right? And to me, we all have our opinions over whether he had it there and all that sort of stuff and whether he got over. But as you guys probably saw, I wasn't upset about that call. I was upset that we didn't score there. But I wasn't upset about the call because, again, it took so long. If they would get overturned, I would have hoped they would have got overturned within the first 30 seconds. Obviously, everybody in the stands, that's what they were anticipating.
How much do you think the guys in the locker room understand that this program has lost 4 times in a row to Liberty? Is that something you think that they have in the back of their mind, or they know about, and that this team hasn't played as well against them lately?
The older guys knew. Absolutely. The older guys talked about it. The older guys, Chris Trinidad, Steph DuBose, those guys were, they were trying to make sure that everybody understood how much they wanted this win, right? You understand what I'm saying? So absolutely, the older guys did, and the guys sitting in front of you did. I know. So to be able to, 25 first downs to 11, right? Like I said, 489 yards to 203. There were some very good things there. There are some things that we need to correct, but there are also some very good things that we can build on.
5-0 coming, following a bye week. Pretty impressive. What was the message to the team this week? Obviously, you've had a lot of success coming out of bye week. So
Somebody told me we lost one.
I don't think so.
Somebody told me we were 4-1 going into this. Harry, I'll let you look into
I
that.
think you lost one last year.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah, sure,
All right.
sure. I know Harry knows.
Wanna know
I know
this
Harry
week,
knows
this
we
year.
lost, so I'll ask him. So, no, we've done some good things, and I will be very honest with you. We have different. Every bye week's a little bit different because of when it is in the season, what's coming after it, what the health of your team is. So every bye week's a little bit different. So it's not like it's been some recipe where it's like rinse, repeat, and go. It hasn't been like that. So everyone's had to be different. So I applaud the players and the coaches for adjusting with me on those sort of things.
On the quarterback rotation at Liberty, we talked about it a little bit on Monday, but when it's so obvious, like as a fan, when they're watching the game, they say, oh, when Hawk's in, he's just gonna run the ball every time.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get the defense not to bite on that? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, because I will tell you, if you remember in the game before that, he actually threw one of the better balls that either one of those guys threw. He threw a glance route while he was getting hit, and it was a really nice ball in their previous game. So I think our guys saw that, right? You know what I'm trying to say? And they called some passes, but he happened to run a couple other times. So I think, yes, it's one of those things that our guys needed to know and react to. Every good team has tendencies, so you're going to react to those tendencies, but you still have to read your keys and you still have to be disciplined.
How excited are you this week to have to report injuries?
Well, I'm excited because I don't have to answer your guys' questions, right? You guys just get the report. I don't have to hear anything about it. Is that the deal?
That's what you think.
Is that the deal on that? I think we should just let's just make a gentleman's agreement right now, right? Like you guys get the report, right? You guys get the report, and then I don't have to answer any questions on it. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
One,
You going in?
You're 3-1, your best start here, Old Dominion's best start in a decade. Any thoughts about that?
Yep, we're 1-0 today. We give ourselves a chance for to learn from a win and go and play a good Coastal team. And you know, I know that that's going to be a challenge. You know that they played really, really well in their last game, so we know we're going to have our hands full. You know, I like to get them here, and you know, go from there.
You guys have had, obviously, 2 games against Power 4 teams, and one against an FCS team, and now this one, some would argue this is more even ground. You go in each game, you say 1-0. Even minutes after a game, do you still look at it as its own entity, or does it even matter who you just beat? I mean, is it all week to week, play by play, as you like to say?
I think I don't know if people always look at this the way that I would like them to. And I know I don't necessarily sound like that right now, but guys, I'm really excited. I mean, I'm being honest. I'm jacked. I'm gonna walk home tonight, all right, through the beautiful neighborhood of Larchmont. So I'm sure, hopefully, I can find a nice little path that isn't completely flooded. And then I'm gonna get home and be with my family and my friends. My mom's here. I got some other friends in town, and I'm jacked. I don't care who we beat. We could beat whoever, and I'm going to be excited because we won a game, because I know how hard they are to win, and they are hard to win. Like you spend time away from your family. You spend time. You probably don't sleep enough. You know, you certainly don't take care of your health. Right? I know I have too many energy drinks before the game and things like that, and I mean this in all seriousness. And I know that. Listen, man, like, I just think of the things that happened this week, and it's hard to win a game, and it affects all of us it affects coaches in a way that I wish it did not affect us, because I think that coaches are some of the best people on the planet, and, you know, myself excluded, obviously, but there's a lot of really, really good men in this profession that, unfortunately, in our drive to coach and win games, we make some sacrifices that maybe when we're about to go to the end there, we wish we wouldn't have made. But so every single time we win, it's gonna feel real good, real good.
Are you alluding to Sean?
I am.
Assume. Yeah.
I am.
Anything else, or is it just Sean?
No, just Sean. I mean, he's. He's one of those guys when you sit back. I told our guys, I think I told some people this, but I told our guys on Wednesday, or Tuesday was it, that they needed to make sure that they called somebody that night that they didn't talk to enough, and I was able to do that to a couple different people. And I said, the universe pays you back in weird ways, because then one of my friends who's a really, really good friend of mine that I've kind of lost touch with, he just happened to text me out of the blue. And he's a great dude. And, it's just one of those things, like, you lose touch with people who are great people. And I wish I would have. It's hard because I was competing against Sean. You knew you were every year, but I wish I would have. We had gotten closer, and I wish we would have gotten even closer, because he really was a great human being.
When's the last time you were in touch with him?
Preseason. Yeah, preseason.
Coaching stuff, or just keeping in touch?
No, just keeping in touch. Just keeping in touch. I didn't want to go into any coaching stuff with him or anything like that. I just wanted to, he was trying to rub it in how much fun he was having being a position coach instead of a head coach. So that's what he was doing. So, and he knew that would get me. So, yeah.
Might expand your options this offseason.
I don't know about that. No, but it's probably one of the reasons I've taken it upon myself to, I've told people this, to kind of coach the G Squad offensive line during the week, watch film with them and all those sort of things, because they think it's for them. It's for me. It's the most selfish thing of all time, but I'm having fun. So hopefully it makes them a tiny bit better.
Anything else for Coach?
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Coach.
you guys, appreciate you.
Thanks.